And one. And welcome to Cardinals Nest 2.0. This is the show where we bring on former St. Mary's University student athletes and get caught up. I'm Dean Beckman, the faculty athletics representative. My co-host is Donny Nadeau, the sports information director. And Donny, this week we go way back. Okay, not that far back. To 2005 graduate Jenny Baertsch, track and field athlete for St. Mary's. And Donny, a lot of times with our 2.0, our guest is from, they can be from anywhere geographically. Today, though, we didn't need to go too far.
Yeah, today we got to stay right in Winona as Jenny's been. I guess we can call you a Winona now, right, Jenny? I know you're from McHenry, but you've been in Winona for a long time now. So, Dean, the other thing, she was not only an outstanding track and field athlete, she was an outstanding intern of mine. So
yes, she was.
Yeah.
She learned from the best.
Today's show is a little biased because I was very happy to have Jenny as my intern. Brings back many fond memories.
And Jenny, you're now the marketing manager at WNB Financial. So welcome to the program. We should let you do some talking now. So kind of get us caught up on what you're doing now for WNB Financial.
Sure thing. I'm just thrilled to be here. I appreciate being asked for this opportunity. I love giving back my time in this way to the university. My husband, Jim, is also a graduate of St. Mary's University 2004, and we were athletes together. That's how we met. We ran cross country in the fall, both did indoor track and outdoor track. So, St. Mary's is in our blood. We live in Winona now, out in the country, just love our community, love that we're a longtime part of the university. And so just first and foremost, thanks for asking me to be here. I go way back. Yes, I'm a Winonan now. And I think after 20 years in the community, you can say that you're a Winonan. So Dean and I like to say we started at the same time. Because we did. We both, our first year at the university was 2001, and Dean was in his first year of teaching, and I was in my first year of, see the joys of working from home.
Nice.
You get one of these too. But yeah, we were both, said we grew up together on campus because, Dean was my advisor. I was a public relations major. Really, I told him like my first day, I want to be a sports reporter. I'm a athlete and I like to write, and so Dean really helped me and guided me and allowed me to pursue that dream. And to Donny's point, I interned for him as I went through school, and so I'm just very deeply connected to these two guys here. They were my mentors and a big part of how I grew at St. Mary's.
And it's hard to believe that it's been as long as it has, 15 years. I mean, it seems like just yesterday we were at the NCAA Outdoor Track Championships together, and it is amazing how fast time goes by. But what I found interesting in your brief bio there, you ran cross country, but your real strength in track and field was the sprints, basically the hurdles. So you were a distance runner in the fall, and then you'd get past Christmas and we'd get to track season and you were a hurdler. Was there a big adjustment, so to speak, from the two?
Yes, definitely. I did the same thing in high school. So I was used to that fact. I just guess I love to run, and cross country wasn't the sport that I shined at. But what I can say about cross country, and I think a lot of runners will agree with me, is that cross country it's such an individual sport, but to its heart, it's a team sport. And the cross country team, coming in as a scared freshman, the cross country team was where I met my best friends. And I met my husband, my soon to be, or my husband of 15 years now. When I think about the people I've connected with the most, it's from the cross country team. So it gives you that base. I had some natural endurance and was able to run cross country, but my true love and the sport that I shined at was track and field. And you would think, you know, a distance runner in the fall, you know, I came in and I would do some mid distance, you know, I would do some 400s and some 800s. And at St. Mary's, I was part of a 4x400 meter relay that, you know, we were indoor conference champions and, you know, went far with that. But hurdling is what I excelled at and what I loved the most. And it happened to be the 100-meter hurdles. That's what took me the furthest in my athletic career. That's what brought me my individual conference championship. That's what brought me a couple NCAA qualifying, both indoor and outdoor. And that's what brought me, when I was a junior, I actually competed at the outdoor NCAA championships. And hurdling was, for some reason, a distance runner who could hurdle. You know, I was just a unique one, but that's what hurdling is definitely what my heart was the most in.
You know, I know that I know you still run because I have run into you in several races or just out at the lake or whatever it may be. Have you had a chance now, 15 years later, to kind of sit back and just kind of realize what you did accomplish at St. Mary's athletically? Because like you said, I mean, you almost poo-pooed, well, you know, I went to the national championships twice. That's a pretty darn good deal. And, you know, have you had a chance to just kind of sit back and just reflect on what you did accomplish at St. Mary's athletically?
You know, it took some time, Donny, you know, after competing at the collegiate level, you know, I would say a very high intensity level, being a 3-sport athlete, a full-time student, you know, it's a lot. And so, you know, running is one of those things that you can continue throughout your whole life. And that's why people enjoy the sport so much, because they can do it when they're young, they can do it when they're old, and all the time in between. I do recall after St. Mary's, I went to grad school. I went to the Minnesota State University in Mankato. And I do recall having feelings of, I just need to be done for a while. You know, I just need some time to myself. I just need to take some time off. But truly at its heart, you know, Jim and I would be out on our bikes, or we would be out swimming, or we would be doing something, you know, we're just natural athletic people that need to be active. But it truly wasn't until, you know, you're thrown into the real world. You know, you're thrown into getting a job and buying a home and getting married. And it wasn't until I felt like settled and I started to think about, you know, how I got to where I was and telling people my journey, you know, as you're applying for jobs and you're doing things, and then you can really reflect on your time and what you did. And those were the times where, you know, you start to miss it, and you start to really, you know, reminisce about the good old days. Right. And so those were the times then where, you know, I truly was like, wow, look, you know, just thinking about what I did. And now, you know, we have 2 young children, and telling them the things that mommy and daddy did at St. Mary's. Those are the times where I really am proud of myself and the things that I did.
Jenny, it's rare for a college student to land professionally in the town where they went to school. It just doesn't happen very often. I did it, and you did it too, but it still is pretty rare. My guess is when you left St. Mary's and went off to graduate school, your plan wasn't to end up coming back, probably, right? So kind of tell us about what that's like now, to be living and working and being a integral part of the community where you went to school.
It's funny because Jim constantly reminds me when I say how much I love this community, and he says, remember what you were the one that said we are never going to live in Winona. You wanted to get far, and he's from Winona. You know, he went to Winona Senior High School. His family's here, and I said, you know, I wanted to get him out. You know, let's go away. And so yes, we ended up in Mankato for 2 years while I went to grad school. And I went. I studied sports management, actually. And my goal in life was to be a Donny. You know, I wanted to be a sports information director, and Donny, you know, guided me and mentored me. And he's, you know, actually both of you guys are the top reason that I ended up in Mankato. It was, you know, a place for me to earn my degree, but also I was getting experience at the same time. I was a graduate assistant. So, you know, when the time came to apply for jobs and as a sports information director, especially being a female in the industry, the door was wide open for me. You know, we could have ended up anywhere. I interviewed in Illinois and Iowa. You know, it was really a truly humbling experience then. And I started thinking about like our life together. And as we started to talk about a family and settling down, and you know, anyone who knows Donny, he's on campus pretty much 24/7, and he's working nights and he's working weekends. And it was something that I made the decision at that time to look for more of a 8 to 5, you know, to look for more of something in my field, which was public relations and communications. You know, truly look for something, but I could have more of the quote unquote banker's hours. And we started to miss home. You know, we started to miss the Winona area. So we were looking for jobs, and we ended up in La Crosse. And it was a good experience for us. I worked for a school district, and Jim started a electrician apprenticeship, but we missed Winona. We really did, and we found ourselves coming back. It's a half-hour difference between La Crosse and Winona, and we just found ourselves here all the time. And so I started to look for jobs in the area in Winona, and I found it was called a marketing coordinator position at the time it was Winona National Bank. And, you know, looking at that job description, it had, you know, everything that I was good at and things that I wanted to be good at. And so I applied, and I ended up there, and that was 2008. You know, I've been at the bank for, you know, almost 12 years now, and it's such a wonderful place. And being now the marketing manager, you know, as an officer of the bank, you know, I've worked my way up, and I'm in a position where I'm constantly interacting with the community. And Winona, you know, everyone who went to St. Mary's knows that, you know, Winona is just a special, special place. So I'm proud to be a Winonan now, and my family is just flourishing here, and it's some place that, you know, I would recommend to anyone.
You know, Jenny, can you just kind of, and I can't do it, and I've been here for 25 years doing this, went to school here. Can you pinpoint what it is about St. Mary's that makes it so special? Because I've been asked that so many times, and I can't come up with an answer that actually tells what my heart feels, you know, that this place is so special. For you, what is it about St. Mary's that was so very special? For me,
the reason I chose St. Mary's, when I walked on campus, everybody goes to the beauty and the size of the university. You know, I felt, and you guys were a big part of this, I felt like I mattered. I felt like people knew my name. If it was a teammate of mine, if it was a classmate of mine, if it was one of the senior administrators, people knew who I was and cared about me. And as a young freshman coming in, you know, if 2001 was the terrorist attacks on the Twin Towers, and I was a freshman away from home for the first time. And I remember calling my dad, and just, I'm in tears, and I said, you know, I was scared. I was scared out of my mind being away from home. And St. Mary's, you know, it's like just gave me a hug and just protected me. And I felt safe. I felt like people knew me. I have a great relationship with Tony Piscatello to this day. He is just a special man that knew me through my time on the track, and knew me, you know, through my academics. And to this day, you know, he's very involved in the community. And to this day, my maiden name was Folgers, you know, and he'll introduce me to someone, and he'll say, you know, I'd like to introduce you to Jenny Folgers. And I'll look at him and I say, well, you know, it's been a while since people called me that. And he's like, oh, honey, you know, you'll always be Jenny Folgers to me. And for him, you know, just to remember those details and when I graduated, and to me, that's what makes St. Mary's a special place is because everyone there, no matter who you are, you matter.
Jenny, I know that you've been up to campus quite a bit. As you said, you stay pretty active with the university. You've talked in my classes before, to the Public Relations Business Club. When you walk on campus now, when you first drive into campus and look to the right there, you see our beautiful new track and field complex. You didn't have the luxury of competing on that. So I think, I'm sure you've got to be happy with the direction the program has taken since you've left.
I'm so proud. I'm a very proud alum. I'm proud of that track. You know, I'm jealous of that track. I had many workouts on the indoor 200-meter track. You know, but yes, I'm proud of the success of our programs. I still say our because I feel that I'm a part of it. You know, the coaches, there's been a few coaches since I've been there. And, you know, as Jim and I come back onto campus, we're always welcomed back with open arms. We've spoken to the teams. We've timed the track meets. You know, we've done a lot of things over the years where, I'll say it again, even as alums, you know, 15 years out of the program, we still feel like we matter there. And that's special. You know, 2015, St. Mary's gave me an award. It's called the Outstanding Alumna Award. And I was just blown away. You know, it was one of those things that was completely unexpected. Bob Fisher in the alumni office was the one who called me and told me about this award. And I just felt like so humbled and so excited to be, you know, able to represent St. Mary's, but also represent the Winona community and the things that I could do and my family could do to give back. It's not about the size of your checkbook. It's about how you can give back your time and your talent and your treasure if you have it. And so, you know, we're so proud to come onto campus and see those things that we're jealous of, but we're happy that the current student athletes can experience.
You know, I know you've mentioned, Jenny, that your competitive days have kind of slowed down a little bit. A couple of kids will do that to you, but your husband hasn't slowed down. In fact, can you talk a little bit, because I know the story, but can you talk a little bit about what his goal is? I know he's become a marathon runner. Talk a little bit about what Jim's doing right now.
He's quite the inspiration, and he's running a marathon in every state. So that's 50 marathons in 50 states. And he started this, I think it was while we lived in Mankato. I mean, so it was quite some time ago. And, you know, him and his best friends, who I will say are all St. Mary's, I was going to say coworkers. That's wrong. St. Mary's teammates of ours. They have this group of 8 guys. They call themselves the 8, and they decided to do a marathon together. And that sparked this, you know, this inspired him to do more. And so he's going across the country and running a marathon. Believe it or not, each state has a marathon. You know, even Delaware and Rhode Island, as small as they are, they have marathons. But what it's become is a special time for him and I to get away. And when he started this and we started to have a family, it was hard, you know, for us to go to Alaska and to go to New Hampshire. And so he was doing a lot of these on his own. And now that our kids are 8 and 9 years old now, and, you know, they spend a special weekend with grandma and grandpa or their uncle and aunt, and Jim and I are able to get away and see the country in a very unique way. We're supposed to go, our next one was supposed to be over Thanksgiving time, and we're supposed to go to Tulsa, Oklahoma. And of course, all of the races right now with COVID are all virtual races. So we may or may not still go just to get away a little bit, but it's a very unique and something I'm very, very proud of him for doing.
Well, Jenny, Donny and I have a goal of like 26 miles in the span of a month. not exactly in one race day.
we had 2 cross country runners on for our regular Cardinals Nest this week, and as I explained to them, and I know I've told you too, you call yourself a runner. Dean and I are joggers, so there's a big difference there.
Donny, I remember when I was in school, and I remember one time I was up in the weight room doing something. It was early morning, and you were running on the treadmill. And you said to me, you looked at me and you said, how do you do this?
Yeah.
And I said, well, it's, everyone's got a little in them, Don, you got to enjoy it. You said, well, how do you even do this outside? Like, how do you go outside and run, like in the trails? And I'll always remember that, because now I bump into you at a day, and I bump into you running around the lakes, and I'm like, where's this guy that hated the treadmill and hated running? And now,
well, I do still hate it. I still do, but I still hate it.
I'm right there with you, Donny. Jenny, we're kind of winding down on time a little bit, but other memories from your days at St. Mary's. I know for me, of course, you're right. You were in my first graduating class. I think I told your class at the time, and I still believe it. I felt like I graduated with you that day. When I think of you, I can't help but also associate you all the time with Carl Hatteberg, because you were two of our kind of outstanding academic stars out of that class. But I always saw him as kind of the class clown, and you were sort of, the serious one, and all of that. Other memories of St. Mary's other than maybe what you've mentioned so far?
That's still true to this day. We're very close to the Hattebergs. Carl also married at St. Mary's, a classmate of ours, and so we see them often, and he's still a very big class clown. But yes, I would say, as a student athlete at St. Mary's, I had my practices each day, and I had my meets, and I had, the teammates. It was so much more than that. Through cross country, our team went to New York, and we didn't fly. We took a bus. Let me say that again. We took a bus to New York, and it took multiple days to get there, but we went there. We ran a cross country meet in New York City, and we spent a few days seeing the city. And, it was something that I'll never forget. I'll always remember that. I went to the Drake Relays. Just prestigious, if anyone's a track and field fan, that is, it's something that everyone strives for. And I was given the opportunity to run a relay at the Drake Relays, same with the Kansas Relays. So all of these places that I was able to go to, as a student athlete, those are certainly things that I'll always remember. Like I said, Jim and I have a very close group of friends that were our teammates and our classmates. And I think that's a unique thing about St. Mary's as well, is that those relationships don't just fizzle away. So those are things that I'm also very, very appreciative for, that the university gave us. I'm certainly also appreciative. I found my husband there.
Yeah.
And all the things that we've grown and that we've created, here our life together. And so, it's more than the practices. It's more than the books. At St. Mary's, it really changed my life and made me the person I am today.
And Jenny, it doesn't surprise me a bit that you're a wonderful mother, because you were one of our best babysitters. You watched Aiden and Kale quite a bit. And now to make you feel old, Aiden's will be graduating from college this year, and Kale will be graduating from high school. So.
It's hard to see those pictures on Facebook, seeing those kids doing what they're doing. It was the same thing. I felt the same. I remember Kale was like in diapers when I babysat him. So those are the things that I always appreciate too.
Donnie, any last thing for Jenny?
I think I'd love to have Jenny on for like an hour, because this has just it's been so nice to catch up. And I really have appreciated this Nest 2.0 for just this opportunity. I've been here for a long time, and to get to just kind of reconnect with some people that were, very special to me. And like I said, having you as an intern, and I'll never forget that NCAA championships when you were actually, not only were you competing, but you were writing stories at the same time about the meet, and just things like that. And just having you in the office and watching you, grow from freshman to senior year, and then move on to, be a GA and everything you've done. It's been awesome. And I truly appreciate you coming on and joining us today.
Like I said, thank you for this opportunity. And for anyone who's watching and thinking of St. Mary's, possibly St. Mary's being an option for their collegiate career, yes, and yes, I would really highly recommend.
All right, that's going to do it for Cardinals Nest 2.0. Thanks for watching.